I'm Jim Donio. I'm the president of NARM. NARM is the Music Business Association. We have been in business for 52 years, and we represent all different segments of the music industry. NARM really is the nexus of commerce and content. We bring the music labels and all those who are responsible for the creation of the music and the marketing and the promotion of the music. We bring them together with their trading partners in the retail and digital service and mobile space to get music to music fans. What's special about NARM is NARM is a lot of things. One of the most valuable things that NARM is a stage. So NARM provides a platform for the introduction of artists to the industry. We're not open to the public, so it's not music fans who are here, but we are the springboard. We are the place where we're sort of an incubator, so when artists are about to break or where a label has an artist that they know there's something special about this artist frequently before the album comes out, or when perhaps just a couple of songs have come out but they haven't really broken through, they bring them to NARM. And literally in 1990, my very first convention, I was working the convention, and we were having a rehearsal for our scholarship dinner, and Sony had this incredible lineup of artists that night: Michael Bolton, Kenny G, Harry Connick Jr., who was fresh off of When Harry Met Sally soundtrack, and Branford Marsalis. It's a pretty, incredible lineup. This was 1990. And we were doing the rehearsal, we were doing the run-through, and they came over to me and they said, we've got this, female singer. No one's really seen her yet. Her album's not coming out until May. This was March of 1990. She's going to come on and she's going to do one song with Michael Bolton. It's just going to be this duet. They're going to sing We're Not Making Love Anymore. And the room was empty like this room is now. And it was just me, and they were getting ready to do the sound check. And Michael comes out and starts the song. And then a few bars into the song, I look over, and this just incredible young woman comes, striding out onto the stage, opens her mouth, and the first note is just like mind-blowing, and it was Mariah Carey. And she had, largely, a few companies, few of the retailers had heard about her, perhaps it had a little bit of a preview, but this was her, unveiling. This was her debut in front of the entire music industry. And clearly, that was just the sound check. The show a couple of hours later, it just blew everyone away. And what's very cool about NARM is that was 1990. Literally 1 year later, 1991, after having been a walk-on with one song duet in 1990, she headlined the same show, the scholarship show. She headlined it 1 year later in San Francisco. That's what happened from that walk-on performance to 1 year later. She won 2 Grammys. She sold millions of albums. And, we've had that story, repeated time after time. In 1990, it was Mariah Carey. In 1998, it was NSYNC. In 2002, it was Josh Groban. And in 2007, it was Taylor Swift. So NARM does have a very, I think, illustrious pedigree for, looking back over the years and finding those incredible moments where a star is born. Literally on the stage of NARM. And the industry then gets behind that artist, recognizes that there is going to be a really significant contribution of this artist to the business of music. And, the rest, as they say, is history.
Who is it this year?
Well, we've got, a number of new artists that are performing this year, and we're very excited. We've got a band from Australia called the McClymonts, and they've been huge in Australia. They've won a lot of major awards in the Australian music market. And I heard their music, and I just immediately fell in love with them and, reached out to the label and said, I'd love for them to perform at the opening session at NARM. One of my favorite bands is the Dixie Chicks, and these 3 young women, the McClymonts, are sisters, and they are a country band. They all play instruments. They're very, I would say, reminiscent of sort of the style of the Dixie Chicks, but they have their own, their own style as well. and they're lovely ladies, and I think they're extremely talented. So I'm anxious to see how they are received. We've got a band performing at Buddy Guy's on Sunday night called Paper Tongues. That Randy Jackson from American Idol is working with them. Randy, in addition to being a judge on American Idol, and perhaps some people don't realize that Randy was a musician in the band Journey, and he's a renowned producer and has worked with so many different artists and bands through the years, and he's working now with Paper Tongues, who are on A&M Octone Records. So they're going to be performing off-site at Buddy Guy's on Sunday evening. And then we've got two other newer artists who are performing on at our awards finale on Monday evening. Dave Barnes, who's on Razor and Tie, and Ashlyn Huff, who's on Liquid Digital Media label. So we'll see. I mean, they're four very different new artists. And we'll see how the industry, embraces and uplifts them. But I've heard all of their music, and I'm very excited to have all of them be performing, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Talk about illegal downloading. How has that affected the music industry, and do you guys have a solution out for it?
The theft of intellectual property is, a huge, issue and a huge problem for the business, for everyone in the business, from the songwriter to the artist and performer, musicians, people in all aspects, whether you work for, a venue, whether you work for a label, whether you work for a retailer or a service or whatever, you're impacted. If you are a clerk in a store, or if you're a person who works in a warehouse, you're going to be affected in some fashion by the implications of someone being able to take the product for free. We can't go back. We can't, go back in time. The very technology that enabled this behavior to come about and to continue also has been a technology that, through the internet and through the tools and the marketing and the other things that are available through using that, have opened up marketing channels and ways to create exposure and access that heretofore you could not have, and you would not be able to utilize it in the same way that you can utilize it through the internet. So there are two sides to looking at this story, but make no mistake, the notion of someone's livelihood, someone creating something, and someone else feeling that it's their, they have a right to have it without being, paying for it, is wrong, and it should be the creator's decision as to whether they want it to be free. If they do, that's their prerogative. If they want to give something away, it's their choice to give it away. We would never think about, walking into a physical store and saying, oh, I want this CD, and I want this LP vinyl, and I want this T-shirt, and I want this toy boutique item, and just putting it in your bag and walking out of the store. You would be arrested for shoplifting. So that would never, it would never occur to someone. Maybe it would, but it would be obvious to someone that that's a crime and that's wrong. And that doesn't seem to be translated when people think about, taking music, over the internet.
Are record stores dead?
Oh gosh, far from it. Record Store Day took place just a couple of weeks ago, April 17th. It was the third annual Record Store Day, and NARM has been really pleased to be a sponsor of Record Store Day. And something like 1,300 record stores around the world participated in this incredible celebration of music fans, and of the cultural and commercial contributions that record stores make to their communities. It was an amazing day. The sales on that day for these record stores broke all of their personal and individual records. And I'm really, really excited for the organizations that create Record Store Day, and NARM is really thrilled to be a sponsor. Record stores have become very diversified over the years, and they are destinations in their communities. In many cases, they are part of an arts community, and they are part of the local entertainment scene in their community. based on their location and their contributions. Make no mistake, we've sadly lost thousands of record stores over the past decade, but the record stores that continue to thrive and be very savvy business people and make contributions to the industry and to their communities are hale and hearty. Dozens of them are participating in NARM this year, and we're very excited and very grateful to have their participation.